Hey everybody, this is John here, aka Breath of Bubbles, and once again, welcome to my laboratory. It's been a little while since I've done some videos. It's because Pokemon season's been up and, personal lives happen, but here we go. For those who did not watch the Pokemon regionals happening this weekend, you missed quite a bit, actually. Um, Day 2 and Day 1 were completely different decks that were being played. Based off what we saw on both days, Charizard was the main deck being played. But even though Charizard was the main deck being played, it still did not make top eight. Where we had Pittsburgh, we had Peoria, and now we're gonna have Sacramento coming up this weekend, which I'll be there. And we're gonna find out if Charizard can finally make that cap and finally break the cap, break the bubble, and up here in the top eight for once. But outside of that, let's talk about Peoria. What we have in front of us is the most successful decks that are being played. I'm not going to go into big details because obviously there's a lot of people that are doing the same commentary, doing the same video. All I just want to talk about in general is to give you guys a broad aspect of what's happening. So, as I said before, Charizard was probably the most common deck being played. Almost 20% of the lineup, or one-fifth of the lineup was just Zards. Guardy is right up there with 14%. Zone Bucks, another 12, Rida, another 11. Now, this is the thing I try to explain to people. Like, you're going to look at this list and you're going to go, okay, we're going to break it down. Really, it's sort of like across the board. Not gonna use the word even. I'm surprised you didn't see Mew in top eight, and Giratina's right up there too. But I think Mew is still gonna be up there as long as certain decks are still being played. Mew is just playing the odds in that sense. Because if you flip, majority of the time, play Mew against Charizard and anything that has a weakness to it, it's gonna one shot beat it majority of the time. But like I said, overall, there's a good amount of decks being played. That's so everybody gets an idea of what's happening. Uh, I also have listing of the winners, which is, and as you can tell, it's sort of the same templates. You have lost zones, two different lost zones. I believe this version of Long Zone was, I believe I have it right here, playing the Kyogre built. Yeah, this one was trying to play the Kyogre where he basically mill everything down to the point to where you could toss back the energies and just do the big splash attack for the game. The other version of Lost Box was running the Dragonite Raikou variation. So both good decks, they're the same thing except one has different attack than the other one, basically. But it's virtually the same decks being played. Outside of that, excuse me, we're gonna go down to the Mew. Surprise or not, Mew Genetic is still up there. This Mew actually was kind of surprised or not, was running Luxray V. More likely just for the vein sniping ability. They wanted to be able to target key cards your opponent has and just throw them out. It's a good idea. If you can hit trading cards, you hit the rare candies, you hit the key supporter card that the opponent needs, and you don't allow them to evolve, yeah, you could control the game board very quickly. Well, so that's that. Maridon is still an active deck. We got both versions of one that runs the Raichu variation. Actually, I think they're both the same. Yeah. The only difference was that this version was the traditional version being played, which has the Raichus, Flaffies, the Rhydons, the Pichu, and the Zapdos. This version, on the hand, I had one more card, and it was the Mew. I believe Mew is a very good tech for this specific deck, only because the fact that it can accelerate the energy very quickly. It doesn't. This deck unfortunately does not hit like the 300 attack power. So like Charizard decks, for example, or any 300 or 280 HP Pokemon, very hard to hit. But with Mew though, Mew gives you that potential. I'm gonna play against Zard. You keep in your hand. That's your ace spec card. Or not ace spec card. It's your ace in your sleeve. You play it down, and then you do that one major attack when you get 330 damage. That's how I see Mew being played. Other than that, you're checking against how your opponent's playing against their deck. So hats off to this. Next, we had the Lost Box Charizard, which is Terrence. Which, by the way, Terrence, congrats, that was awesome. He's from Arizona. I believe he built like another lot. It's like another Lost Zone variation, but his focus is actually with Radiant Charizard, where he could pretty much abuse the Turbo. What is it? I know it's right here. Echoing Horn. There's an S-Balls. Am I missing it? I believe he runs the Turbos. Maybe they're not add the cards all. Yeah, I'm sure something's missing here once in a while. His deck is basically running the spread damage with Sableye and do enough damage spread around, and then Radiant Charger comes in once or twice and pretty much takes care of the game at that point in time. I believe he runs the basic for 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's not a bad ability. 2 fire. He had Spiritomb for those Mewtwo matches, so you can kind of slow those things down. But overall, it's a pretty decent deck on how it's set up. Next, we have a Guardy deck. So let's go ahead and go to Guardy. Another same style Guardy decks. They have their Gardevoir EX. So if you don't know what that does by now, they've been living on under like a rock like Patrick. Yeah, Guardy basically accelerates energy, psychic energies from discard pile, and you do damage to yourself. I think it's 20 for each one. Yeah, two damage counters for each energy you charge up. So play with Guardy, yeah, you can do some major damage that way. Let's see. Yeah, this is basically a typical setup, except they added me, which makes sense in this deck because you gets acceleration from Guardy at any given time. You play down Mew, and you just take out a key Pokemon again, just like what Rhydon does. Rhydon can't hit the numbers. The Guardian deck can hit the numbers, but they can do it without exerting so much energy to make your Pokemon weak. And that's where Mew comes in. The Mew is a glass cannon. Outside of that, that is pretty much the top 8. So again, if you were going back and forth between statistics versus what was being played, you see charter decks were up there, but when you go back to results, we had Drew and looks like Austin Daniel. There were 2 charger decks. I mean, you go down the list, you see, yeah, charger does pop up every so often. I would say that it came down to maybe like a different win. Yeah, I think that's what it came down to for some of those chargers not to make top 8. If I was a win or a tie situation that occurred. So now I would definitely be expecting that Charizard will make his debut in top 8 during this next regionals that's going to happen in Sacramento. As for myself, I can't wait for it. It's going to be kind of a lot of fun. The deck I'm actually going to be preparing for, based off what I see around here and based off the results, uh, I think the deck that people are going to start playing, if they're not going to play it now, they will play it later, is Alakazam. Now, if you don't know what Alakazam is, he's the one that has the ability where he can attack from the bench, dual 120, but he use Mimikyu and use Klefki as a wall deterrence for shutting down basic Pokemon abilities and also being a wall against V and EX Pokemon. But outside of that, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It wasn't supposed to be a very long video. I just want to get a little shout out there for people that just want to see what was going on. And I'll be having more videos posted later. Again, life happens, and I'm planning to get back into the Steam, and you'll be seeing more videos being posted as we continue on. So until then, I appreciate your guys' time, and I'll see you all next time.